So we see a video, and this isn't recent, this isn't new. I've just recorded another video and I wanted to sort of talk about this. And we see a video of Conor McGregor at the Tough House, completely drunk. Off his face, as we say in the UK, I don't know if you guys say that in America, but he was tweaking. Slurring his words outside the Tough House. And this brings me to a question that I asked myself, is who is going to be Conor McGregor's hardest opponent? And then again, who has been his hardest opponent? So then I see him doing another podcast, and again, he's drinking, he has the proper 12 out on the table. I think the podcast was called My Mum's Basement, or something along those lines. Good podcast name. And he was doing an interview, not a podcast. And I'm there thinking, who is going to be Conor McGregor's hardest opponent? Now, if we talk about a leader, which he will have had to be in the Tough House, a leader doesn't stay in the trenches with you whilst you're working hard, whilst you're grinding, and then go off, have a few drinks, get drunk and go back to his mansion. The leader stays with you. A leader is an example of what you should do. He isn't someone who leads by example whilst you're there, and then when you turn your back, he goes off drinking, goes to his mansion, into his Rolls Royce, and goes back to his wife. That's not what a leader does, but this really showed me and really made it evident as to who Conor McGregor's hardest opponent is going to be. Now, I don't want to offend fans of Michael Chandler, but ability-wise, let's just say ability-wise, taking away lifestyle, money, ability-wise, McGregor should beat Chandler. And you may say to me, but Chandler's a great fighter. He is. But Chandler is so similar to Eddie Alvarez and so similar to fighters that McGregor has beat before. Chad Mendes, Eddie Alvarez. That was the name that was on the edge of my mind. McGregor has the ability to win this fight. Not easily. There's still a chance Chandler wins this fight. For sure. And in my prediction I said McGregor would win. But when I see these videos, it puts me on edge. Not emotionally, it's not the highlight of my day, don't worry, I'm not obsessed with McGregor like that, but it puts me on edge in terms of my prediction isn't so certain now. We've got to also emphasise the fact that McGregor owns an alcohol beverage brand. So there's two things that could be happening. One, he's just promoting his drink, which the second thing that I said, him going on a podcast, makes sense. Or he genuinely has a problem with alcohol. Example, he was drunk outside the Tough House. But me seeing these two clips made me realise very, very, very certainly that McGregor's hardest opponent won't be Michael Chandler. It won't be Justin Gaethje if he fights him. It won't be Colby Covington, Leon Edwards. They're not going to be his hardest opponents. His hardest opponent is going to be himself. And I know this might seem patronising. Oh, I thought you were going to tell me who his hardest opponent was and break it down, but this is my genuine opinion, is that Conor McGregor's hardest opponent will be, and possibly has been, for a couple of years himself. Because he has the ability to beat Chandler. You look at the archetype of Eddie Alvarez, like the build, the way he fights, and it's very like Michael Chandler. He can do it, but does he want to do it? I don't know. The videos that I saw of him drinking, him drunk, he's a weird drunk, by the way. I'll try and link the video in my comments section of him outside the Tough House, completely off his face. These videos convince me that he is losing this battle at the moment. And this will help Michael Chandler, because Michael Chandler has one opponent when he fights. He has one opponent, because Michael Chandler works hard, and you can tell Maybe he does drink, we don't see him drinking, but he is always working hard, diligent hard worker, good person in general. I don't know if it's a bit of an act, but in general, seems like a good person. He has one opponent, and that is Conor McGregor. McGregor has two. McGregor has to beat two opponents. He will have to beat himself, and then he will have to beat Michael Chandler. You tell me who's got the hardest task ahead of them.